Early Edition.
Good to be with you on this Thursday, September the 21st, 2023. No pod yesterday. It was my birthday. Took the day off. It was nice. Thursday Night Football, we will preview it. Sam Yarnell will be by coming up in a little bit. We'll talk about the mess that's the Bears. Whole bunch of moves around the NFL to get into. That's why I thought it was best to start the show today with Jason Cole, who does a terrific job, our friend, senior NFL writer over at Outkick. Will hang out with us here to start the program today. And for a change, we get to do it by video. See? Look at that. And you've got Big Sur in your backyard. I mean, my God. Can't be any better.
I would never leave this place. So,
yeah,
and I never will.
I know. I'm so jealous. I miss the Bay Area so much. I'm not gonna lie to you. I really miss the Bay Area. But the good news is it's only an 8-hour drive if I want to drive up, or I could always fly up there in an hour and a half. So it's not too bad. Yeah. We'll get to the Thursday Night Football game because I want to get your thoughts on that coming up a little later on, but the Justin Fields story is obviously top of mind for a lot of people. Comes out, blames the coaches for his lackluster start to the season. Then he pulls it back after Matt Eberflus goes up there and gives his side of the story. All this back and forth yesterday, not even to mention the reported raid of Hallis Hall and this defensive coordinator's home. We'll get into that, but start with Justin Fields. I mean, look, in a day and age where athletes are measured in what they say, I can't crush the guy for saying it because we always get on athletes for never saying what's on their mind. And then he came right out and said, hey, the coaches are holding me back.
Yeah, I'll say this, start off. This is probably the first time that I can remember the team was glad to have a quarterback controversy between the quarterback and the coach. Given that there was this FBI story out there and that their defensive coordinator quit on a day where there are all sorts of strange accusations going on about what's going on. And that's a very serious story. To have the fluffy story about the quarterback going off on the coaches was actually a relief for them in some respects. But from a real football perspective, for me, I don't think Justin Fields gets it. And I don't think that he's ever going to get it based on this, that you have to learn how to play from the pocket. Yes, you want to get out and run. You want to take advantage of your ability outside the pocket. Those are all important things. But you have to learn to throw from the pocket. And if you're going to say to your coaches, you're not letting me, do the things I need to do when they're trying to teach you how to do things that are going to make you better and prolong your career, that means you don't get it. You don't understand what this process is really about. And that means to me that Justin Fields is closer to the end of his time in Chicago than he is to the chance of success. And the chance of success was already pretty limited based on the fact that he's coming from Urban Meyer offense, which is very simple. It's a very, it's kind of a elaborate high school that they play really well at the college level because they have amazing athletes doing it, guys like Justin Fields. So to me, as much as people are sort of defending Justin Fields and thinking that he's right, he's actually missing the bigger point.
Do you think they sort of let him loose and say, all right, you want to do it your way? Because then it gives them an out if ultimately they decide to move on from him where he can't say, well, they were holding me back. Do you think now they sort of cut him loose and just say, hey, you go do your thing and we'll see how it works?
You better have a really good relationship with your owner.
Yeah.
Okay. If you're going to do that, if you're going to kowtow to the quarterback and you better have a very powerful relationship, A, to survive that with the owner, and B, a plan with the owner, because the owner is looking at this going, I invested $25 million in this kid. I invested a first-round pick. I brought you in to make him better. Presumably, part of Eberflus's, selling pitch was, I'll make Justin Fields great. That should have been one of those things that he sold. But if it wasn't, if it was, hey, I'll do my best with this guy, but I see the flaws, and we may need to move along. You better make sure that the owner knows exactly what your plan is, and that you're willing to stick it out long term. Because I will say this about Eberflus: what happened with Alan Williams is going to reflect on Eberflus. Okay, he's the one who's going to have to eat it for that one, not the other way around. So there's already, if I'm the owner,
red flags.
Red flag. Like, wait a sec, you stood up for this guy and made him your defensive coordinator, not a position coach. Now he's one of your most important coaches on your staff, and you had no idea what was going on in his life. But now I'm supposed to trust you with the direction I'm going to go with my quarterback. Like,
sure,
there are some issues here with Eberflus, and they are tied together.
Well, let me ask you, what is going on? What are we hearing as far as the Alan Williams situation?
I don't know. I haven't made any phone calls about this one. Okay. I don't know what the truth is from this one, because it's such a hot topic that everybody's going to shut up for at least a couple of days to sort it out. And yes, there's plenty of stuff out there on the internet, and there are things that you can guess about that it could be. My mind immediately went to one thing that I have seen written about on the internet, but there's no person of any substance saying that that's true.
I'm not asking you to report it, but what are those things that people are alluding to on social?
Well, I mean, you're talking about. It's so sensitive. I don't even want to say. Right? Like, it's not fair to Alan Williams to paint him.
I don't want it to be tagged to you. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. Like, that's not fair. But just let your imagination go, or do your research. But if a man is giving up being a defensive coordinator in the NFL, a job that pays, probably $1.5 million, $2 million a year, and is on his way to trying to become a head coach in this league, and has worked his way up for 20 years to be a defensive coordinator, to give that up, you're talking about something that's extraordinarily serious, right? And so this is the kind of thing that will throw an organization for a loop, because all of a sudden people are looking around at each other going, what the hell's going on with this guy? And that's on top of, this is not a great team to begin with. It's an improving team.
Yes. But
it's not a great team. And this is the kind of thing that can completely throw every plan you have off course, unless you have an owner who says, okay, this is our way out of this, and this is our vision, and we're going to follow our vision, and we're going to be strong. And unfortunately, I don't think the Bears are that kind of team.
Jason Cole hanging out with us, Outkick.com senior NFL writer. He's also a Hall of Fame selector. He's also the author of this great book, Shut Up, Your Kid Is Not That Great, available in bookstores, also available on all your favorite online booksellers. Shut Up, Your Kid Is Not That Great. Jason, look, the Vikings strike a deal with the Rams for Cam Akers. How does it fit in your eyes?
It's an okay replacement for Dalvin Cook. You get a guy who can catch the ball a little bit. But to me, what the heck is going on? This is great.
Your Google Home, or you're speaking to you?
Yeah, Google Home starts talking to you.
They're always listening, man. They're always listening.
Always listening. And they're still talking in the background. So it's amazing.
Station based on Dalvin Cook.
Oh my God, it's listening to Dalvin Cook now.
That's great, man.
So, anyways, Cam Akers is a reasonable replacement for Dalvin Cook and his explosiveness. He's not a great replacement for him, and I think that the Vikings, I don't know if their management understood how lucky they were to be that good last year when they went, what were they, 11-0 in one-score games or something, some absurd number, 9-0 or 11-0 in one-score games last year. And they were much closer to being a 8 or 9 win team than they were to being a 13-win team. And so when they let Dalvin Cook go, one of your best weapons, I don't think they understood how much they were going to go backwards as a result of that.
Yeah, that's a fair point. And look, I mean, regressing to the mean is what I think of most when I think of the Vikings this year. Other running back
for their
news.
Entire existence.
Yeah,
basically.
This is true. Kareem Hunt to the Browns. Not sure what you thought of Cleveland's playoff chances prior to Nick Chubb getting hurt, and that was tough to watch on Monday night. What are you thinking now?
They weren't good before. I don't really believe in what they're doing. I don't believe that Deshaun Watson is into this. Like, my biggest problem with them. Hold on 1 second. Hey, Google, stop.
It's still talking?
It's playing music now. I don't know what it was doing. There was like this soft sonata that was playing in the background. My biggest problem with Cleveland is when you have to overpay a player who's already in trouble and already has issues that are distractions away from the field. When you have to pay that guy to come to your organization and you have to overpay by that much, he's not that into it, right? So it's like guys who try and date women by giving them all sorts of gifts to keep them on the line. The girl's not really that into it, right? And that's exactly what this is. I don't know that Deshaun Watson is completely sold into being here. So when your quarterback is not completely sold into being there, how's everybody else going to be? How's everybody else going to react? Is everybody else going to be bought in? And I get that feeling out of Cleveland. And I don't trust that that's a team that's going anywhere until they get a quarterback, a leader, an entire unit that are like, this is the organization we want to be part of. It's sort of the Bernie Kosar effect. You know, remember when Bernie Kosar went there years and years and years ago, and all of a sudden it was cool again to be a Cleveland Brown. Well, there's got to be a sense of it's kind of cool to be a Cleveland Brown. And we're here because we like this organization. We like being here. Deshaun Watson's not that guy. And so Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb aside, Kareem Hunt's okay. He's fine. You know, it's as good a replacement as you're going to find. But there's a whole basic part of that organization that I have a problem with.
Between Baltimore with J.K. Dobbins, you know, the Kareem Hunt situation there and the Nick Chubb situation in Cleveland, is anybody talking to Indianapolis? Is there anything on the horizon with regard to a deal for Jonathan Taylor, or is this thing just sitting there festering right now?
No, there are people who are making phone calls, and they're like, okay, what's going on? What's going on? But there's a little calm about it because there's still 2 more weeks before anything has to happen. But
nothing ever gets done until a deadline is set.
Right. And so they're going to call and they're going to say, okay, well, what's the price? Well, you don't really have to worry about the price because, you get 2 weeks to go. But this is going to open up. There's going to be a team that's a good team, a contender or at least a team that believes it's a contender that will say, yeah, we just need a running back to plug in, a guy who's really, really good. And they'll pay the higher price. This was the risk that Indianapolis was willing to take by putting him on the PUP list and, not allowing him to play for the first 4 weeks of the season. They'll get there. It's sort of like Houston when they were dealing with Deshaun Watson. And everybody's like, oh, the price is going to go down. It's going to go down. It's going to go down. No, it wasn't going to go down. This is a quarterback. You just need to play it out for a long time.
Stay on running backs. NFL has filed a grievance against the Players Association claiming that they're telling running backs to fake injuries, get greater leverage in contract negotiations. I mean, not the greatest start for the new NFLPA guy in his relationship with Roger Goodell. What does all of it mean ultimately?
Not a lot. I mean, this is one side bitches, the other one bitches back. One side bitches, the other one bitches back. At the end of the day, this is not going to be fixed. And that is the running back salary situation is not going to be fixed for another 6 years, maybe 7, because you have to wait until the next collective bargaining agreement. Because unless the NFLPA is willing to give something up of great value, but it would have to be enormous value, in my view, because the NFL likes having the longer contracts for rookie players because it prevents them from overpaying on players. This all has to do with the timing of a first contract. That first contract for a running back is really, really important. And the amount of time it takes to get to being a free agent is really, really important for running backs. And right now, a first contract is basically the entire contract for a running back. And until they fix that, and that's a really difficult negotiation, you're going to have some of this going back and forth with running backs. It's just the value of the position. It's just how it works. And it was a gigantic mistake that was made back in 2011. This is a mistake that is more than a decade in the making. It's going to take a lot to unravel that mistake. So that's not going to go away. And just like it's not going to go away that the NFLPA is going to be bitching about fields, the need for grass fields. That's not going away either, because you gave up control of your playing surface when you signed the collective bargaining agreement. You should have control of your playing surface, but you gave it to people who don't play, right? The guys who don't play control what the surface looks like.
It's amazing.
In what kind of idiotic world does that happen? Like this.
NFLPA. Look, the NFLPA is a clown car. I mean,
Well, you hope that the new guy learns the business. You hope.
Hope's not a plan, though.
Well, I mean, the biggest problem is that the NFLPA, once again, the players thought, okay, we're going to hire a business guy. It's like, don't you understand? This is about understanding the business of football. Every single commissioner for the 80 plus years that they've had a commissioner, every single one of them worked in football. Every one of them worked in the game because they understand the business of the game. The guys who are the most successful executive director that the union has ever had was Gene Upshaw, because what? He worked in the game. He understood the business of the game. Yeah. So I'll leave it at that.
What do you make of Tampa Bay? This 2-0 start. We all thought they'd be a dumpster fire before the year started. I got to be honest. I'm high on it from this perspective. I got the sense that, one of the most dangerous things for a team is if they start to believe. And to me, it looks like that team actually believes in Baker Mayfield.
Look, it's a little bit of that, and that's nice. And it'll make for a good one-season story. I still don't believe that Baker's any good, okay? And I think that they've got enough veteran players who've been around who have won in the past that they're going to be representative. But the first 2 weeks they played Kirk Cousins in the opening week, and he had 3 turnovers, right? Then they played Justin Fields, and he was awful, right? And they've both been kind of close games. They're not overwhelming anybody. I think they're going to stick around from a combination of a couple of things, and they might even make the playoffs because the South is just not very good, right? They're going to blow through Carolina. Atlanta is no threat yet, and New Orleans is good but not overwhelming. So they'll be in the playoff hunt. It'll be an interesting story. But are they good in terms of they're back on track to be a championship team? No, that's not what they are. They're a team that could be a nice little 1-year story.
Jason, no Saquon Barkley for the Giants tonight. You give him any chance in Santa Clara against the 49ers?
No. I mean, I shouldn't say that completely.
No, but you just did.
I did. I don't believe that they have a shot, and they shouldn't. Like I joked with one member of the 49ers coaching staff. I'm going, do you guys even have to game plan this week? Like, do you? And he's like, well, we take everybody serious. I'm like, okay, don't give me the coach talk. They're just the 49ers are way, way better right now. The Giants have had one decent half of football. I mean, it was more than decent. but it was more than decent against a team that's awful. Like the bigger question coming out of the victory over Arizona is if you're what was a playoff team last year, how could you let a game against a bad Arizona team get that out of control that you had to have a miracle second half, a historic second half in which, Daniel Jones did things that no other quarterback has ever done before. Why is that game that bad? Not, oh, hey, it's awesome that you won. I mean, yeah, it is awesome that you won. But why are we in such a hole? And why did we not score a single point for the first 90 minutes of the season? Why do we look like we didn't even show up for training camp? That's my question about this. And look, I just don't think Daniel Jones is very good. He pieced together enough of a season that he forced their hand into giving him a contract, which they can get out of relatively quickly. It wasn't an overwhelming contract, but he's just a guy. He's not really truly special. And the only way he's going to win there is if you're great in everything else. And they're not. Their offensive line is horrendous. Their defense is just okay. Kayvon Thibodeau is not, doing a lot of things that people thought Kayvon Thibodeau was going to do, which is not show up and not see him. So, he can flash and be great for a game or two, but he's not a star on a consistent basis. So, the Giants are just okay, and they should get rolled here Thursday night, unless the 49ers are just bored already. And I don't see them being bored already.
Let me get you out on this one. Deion Sanders, you covered him, when he was playing in the NFL. He's a Hall of Famer, which obviously you know something a little bit about. Watching his success at Colorado, I'm just curious, as somebody that covered him as a player, are you surprised with his success as a coach? Is this something you could have ever foreseen?
I'm not surprised that Deion Sanders would have success in anything that he does.
Wow.
Unless he's in something that he doesn't have real knowledge of. Like when he tried to start a school in Texas, he was in over his head. He didn't have a knowledge base. But if you're talking about things that he has knowledge of base, like the business of football, the art of football, he's amazing at that. Because, Deion is a lot about himself, but Deion understands at the end of the day, the most important thing you do is you got to perform and you got to win. And he understands the functionality of all the things that go into winning, like the study, the hard work. People don't understand how much hard work he put into understanding his opponents, working on the game plan, studying the opponents, doing everything that accentuated this amazing natural ability. Everybody thinks that Deion just walked on the field and was so much better than everybody else that he could just destroy people. Some of that is true. Okay. He was better than 98 to 99% of the people they played against. He was just so naturally gifted. But he was a naturally gifted overachiever. Just like Michael Jordan was a naturally gifted overachiever, a guy who worked relentlessly on his game. And those guys, they don't surprise me with anything. I think he has a much bigger understanding of the business, the coaching, the things that he does, what he's good at as a coach, and most importantly, the people that he hired to be on his staff. He has one of the greatest coaching staffs that you can ever imagine, okay, that you can go out and put together and understands those guys got to get paid. He's got to take care of those guys. But those are great teachers.
Surrounds himself with the right people. Jason Cole, Outkick.com, senior NFL writer, Hall of Fame selector as well, author of this great book, Shut Up, Your Kid Is Not That Great, available in bookstores, online book retailers as well. Jason, it's always fun, my friend. Good to talk to you.
Likewise. We'll talk to you later, Jason. Be good.
Jason Cole hanging out with us today on the show. All right, stick around. More to do. We're going to hang out with our friend Sam Yarnell coming up here in a couple minutes. We'll break down the Bears situation, give you my take on it. He'll give you his. We'll also give you a Thursday night NFL preview, both from the handicapping and just the game standpoint. Lots more to do as we continue on the Cash In podcast. Stay with us. Welcome back on this Thursday edition of the show, because we took Wednesday off. Got all my days screwed up. Good to be hanging out with all of you. Thanks to Jason Cole for hanging out with us for a bit and talking some NFL. And now we say hello to our friend. Well, he's there. I'm apparently not. The great Sam Yarnell is hanging out with us as always here on the show. How are you, Sam?
I'm all right, Jason. I was trying to tell you that I thought something was wrong and that I wasn't able to see you, but clearly the message did not get through. I'm doing all right, though. Listen, the Chicago Bears were a disaster. I thought it was really interesting, though. I thought it was interesting what Jason said there at the end with regard to the Deion Sanders thing, and the Colorado thing, and specifically how he surrounded himself with all these great coaches on that staff, and all those guys are going to want to get paid. That's a good point. It's not something that we think or talk about very often. You know, it is a top tier coaching staff. I went and looked at it after I heard Jason mention it, because it, like I said, was something that I never really think about.
They're talking about adding Warren Sapp to it next year. Yeah,
I might buy in on Colorado this week against Oregon.
No,
you might
21.
You might give me the points with Colorado. I might say, hey, we saw them win outright already as a 20-plus point underdog this season. Just saying.
Actually, I got to be honest with you. As much as I joke around about my disdain for sort of the way Deion's carrying himself and how that's trickling down into the team and all of that, I actually agree with you. I actually would take the points. I would take. I think what's it at right now? It's 21 and a half. I'm surprised it hasn't moved down because I would figure a ton of money would be going on Colorado. It was a 3. I think they were, last I knew, they were a 3 touchdown. I think they were
21 even.
20. It is 21.
Yep,
Yeah,
21.
I actually think I'd do it because even I mean, my God, they could be down 27 late, get a garbage touchdown. I mean, I could see it's got backdoor cover written all over it to me. When I see big numbers like that, I always just think backdoor cover. Yeah. I could see it getting there. Ask the Rams and ask anybody who bet the Rams last weekend, namely you, about backdoor covers, huh?
That's right. One other thing with regard to the Deion thing and how he carries himself, and I know that this is just something that you generally feel, but
yeah.
I thought Reese Davis kind of put it best, and it's made me, after hearing Reese Davis's comments, it's made me kind of reconsider the entire Deion situation and college coaches in general, right? What he said essentially was, when coaches get up and speak in front of the media, they're not talking to the media.
Yes.
They're talking to 3 different people, right? They're either talking to the locker room, they're talking to the fan base, or they're talking to the general. What?
Or talking to the opponent. Yeah.
Right. And I think a lot of what Deion does is not for anybody outside of, the players in his locker room. And it's quite frankly been clear this season so far that he's very effective in getting to them. So give me Colorado with the points.
All right. Fair enough. I got to be honest. If I'm the Bears, and I said this to Jason in our conversation, my take on it is I've said him. You know what, Justin Fields, if he has the support of ownership, if I'm Matt Eberflus, I say go do it your way. And you know what? Maybe it'll be successful. And if you're Eberflus, you look brilliant because you turned it over to your quarterback. You put your player in the best position to succeed, and he does. And if he doesn't, you could then blame it on him and say, you know what? This is why this guy's not right for the job. We gave it to him both ways, our way, his way. He couldn't succeed. So now we're going in a different direction. And you might have some level of understanding from this fan base if it means you suck so badly this year that you can go get Caleb Williams next year.
I think that listen, the Chicago Bears are getting to that point where they've become a historic level of a laughing stock, and it's sad. It's beyond the product on the field at this point. I mean, did you see yesterday the defensive coordinator resigning after the report with the So obviously we haven't. I don't think gotten that entire story. I believe there will be something major to come out of that no one really wants to talk about yet because no one wants to be.
No, and Jason Cole is. I tried to get Jason Cole to talk about it. He didn't want to, and I've looked at the reports and I've seen what they are. And and all I'll say is this: as someone that has openly discussed the fact that I've been a victim of sexual assault as a child, it is really disturbing stuff. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, I mean, just nothing good coming out of Chicago right now. The win total on the FanDuel Sportsbook 5.5. I bought in on the under this morning. I think that's crazy. And there's juice to the over at 5.5. You look through that schedule. Who is this team going to beat? Like, really, where do you find 6 wins now in 15 games? I don't trust that team to go 6-9 the rest of the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, give me everything on the under for the Bears win total this season. It's 5.5. It was minus 105 to the under this morning. It's not even close. It's not. I think the Bears might be, lucky to be a 4-win team this year. They've got 2 first-round picks. It's theirs and the Panthers, I believe. So realistically, they should have 2 top 10 picks. I don't know if they go and get another quarterback, or do they trade both of those picks in a package for an established quarterback? It's another question.
It is a very interesting question. All right.
Do the Bengals blow it all up and take both of those first rounders for Joe Burrow?
They're not blowing anything. What? Oh my! You live in some crazy fantasy world. You live in some crazy fantasy world where the Bengals are all of a sudden a team that went to a Super Bowl, a team that went to an AFC Championship game. All of a sudden, it just sucks. It just sucks all of a sudden. That with a top tier quarterback, it just sucks. It does. It's not logical. What you're saying is not logical.
First of all, it is because the regression is showing itself this season, right? They
didn't have a typical preseason.
They didn't have a typical. Yeah, that's going to happen a lot when your quarterback is injury prone, as it's already happened once in his career. Now, they're already a pick'em to miss the playoffs, right? This is the season that they paid their quarterback the most of players ever been paid in NFL history,
I'll take
right?
him to make the playoffs.
The clock is ticking on Jamar Chase, right? This is a quarterback who they just had to pay the most any player's been paid in NFL history, just a year removed from him saying in the media that he would take a hometown discount so that when it came time to pay Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and all the other pieces of that offense that they have to pay, because they have a really good offensive line too, Joe Burrow was going to take that hometown discount.
All right, hold on. Let me stop you. Let me stop you on one thing. Don't look at the number now, because all of these things can be renegotiated. When Aaron Rodgers came to the Jets, the same thing happened. Everybody said, how are they going to do anything? His contract is so prohibitive. And what did he do? He restructured the contract to make sure the Jets can go and get other guys. The same thing could happen to Burrow. It happened to Brady in New England forever. And if he is serious about winning, and that is what drives him, as I think it does, and they want to keep some of these other guys, he will find ways to massage and manipulate that contract. That's all I'm going to say. Wait until the end of the season when they're in a situation where they have to figure out who they're keeping, who they're getting rid of before you we're putting the cart before the horse a little bit here.
That massaging, though, is not going to be an Aaron Rodgers-esque massaging.
We don't know.
Aaron Rodgers was No, we do. He was a veteran who had already made hundreds of millions of dollars and could afford to take a $12 million a year pay cut, right? Joe Burrow is going to massage it more the way Patrick Mahomes did either this past season or the season before, or I should say this past offseason or the offseason before, so that the Chiefs could go out and get more weapons. And that works effectively, right? But it doesn't work for them to re-sign the best wide receiver in the world.
Let's get there first.
No. We've already seen, because they couldn't do it to Tyreek Hill, so they let him walk. It's exactly what the Bengals are about to have to do with Jamar Chase. We've read this story before. We're just somehow reading it again.
You're writing the story before it happens, though. You're writing it before it happens.
It's happening in front of our eyes.
We'll see. All right, Thursday Night Football. We got the Giants. Man, it's going to be tough for me to watch tonight. Giants and Niners in Santa Clara. The line is 10.5. I'll give you my thoughts on it, but there's a reason we have this handsome young man, besides the fact that he looks good on camera. He likes to dispense sports betting advice, handicapping knowledge, and it's time to welcome in Sam to do that right now.
And now the Cash In presents, it's Cash Cow, the Prince of Picks, Sam Yarnell.
There he is.
I gotta get this one out.
In all his splendor. Look at him. In all his splendor, in all his glory.
You can see it bubbling inside of me. I gotta get the pick out. It's gonna come flying out of me. It's the Niners team total over 27.5 plus 100. It's even money right now. Run to the window. Don't walk. My goodness. This is free money. We don't think the San Francisco 49ers are gonna score 4 touchdowns against this New York defense that led up 20 whatever points to the Arizona Cardinals? My goodness, this is free money. The books are handing it to you. Put your tickets in right now. I probably like the Giants total under 15.5 too. The Niners are going to whomp them in this game. It's not going to be close, but my God, they're going to score 4 touchdowns easily.
Any other props you like in the game?
Listen, the prop market in this game, I've been looking through it, Jason, and The prop market in this game is so weird to me because, quite frankly, like the props that seem the most bettable are all Giants props. It feels like and this is something we saw last season, and bettors beware, because we could start to see it again this season. Every number on this San Francisco 49ers offense feels like it's just so inflated, so blown up. Like Christian McCaffrey to score a touchdown, I think is like minus 270 now. It was minus 260 when I checked it an hour ago. That's an insanely inflated touchdown prop. I don't like any other Niners props besides their team total. That's for a variety of reasons, right? We never know who's going to pop out in this Niners offense. It could be Debo. It could be Ayuk, right? Like it was in week 1. It could be CMC. CMC could not score a touchdown, and he's minus 270 to do so. Like, there are no Niners ways that I really feel like you could invest. I thought about Brock Purdy's passing prop for touchdown passes, but
what's his yardage prop? What's his yardage prop? You have it in front of you?
229.
Wow, that seems low to me.
No,
that seems low. He gets so many dump with a guy like CMC, dump off, rack yards. I could see him going over 229.
Maybe, but here's the thing. I have a feeling they get up so fast and then just run the hell out of the ball. But then you go over to rushing props, and the numbers are inflated there too. Christian McCaffrey, 79.5 rushing yards. I don't know if he rushes for 80, right? Daniel Jones
but wait a
prop,
second. But wait a minute. I think it's one or the other. I think you're either taking Brock Purdy to go over or Christian McCaffrey to go over.
I agree.
So which one is it?
I think both of the numbers are too high.
See, I disagree. I like Purdy. I think I would think I would go Purdy over 229.5. And Daniel Jones 39.5. He's going to be running for his life. Yes, over 39.5 on Daniel Jones, especially with no Saquon Barkley.
All right, you ready? We're gonna cook up a live parlay.
Cook it up
on the pod.
Cook it up. Let's go.
All right.
Jerry in Louisville, Texas is listening.
Daniel Jones over 39.5 rushing yards.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, I like that too. He'll be running for his life, and we're gonna parlay it with Niners money line. Get it to plus 131.
Wow.
You parlay it with the Niners minus 10.5, it's 3-1.
Yeah.
But I do it with
10.5 scares me. That hook, the half a point scares me.
Nah, not even. With the 10, I don't want to touch the spread. I'm very worried that in the second half of that Cardinals game, there was something that offense figured out, and there's a chance this turns into a gun show.
Yep.
Love the Niners to score a bunch. Think the Niners are going to do not believe in this Giants defense. The first half of last week's game showed us that, right? They can't defend anything. Obviously, we saw it in week 1 against the Giants, but that was to be expected. Then again, I would put the Niners offense ahead of the Giants offense, and the Giants offense put up 40 on them. So it seems like such an easy bet to me for the Niners over 27.5, even money. Let's cash.
Yeah. Don't overthink it. If you start, take what you really, to me, it's if you see a few things you like in this game, take what you really like and leave the fringe stuff alone. Don't talk yourself into something, a fourth or a fifth bet. If you've got 2 or 3 things you really like, it's easy to talk yourself into it. I'll tell you, I like Jones over 39.5. I like Purdy over 229.5. Those would probably be the 2. Yeah. Those would probably be the 2 for me. All right. Sam Yarnell. Ladies and gentlemen, dispensing
profit boost for the game tonight too.
Say that again.
The unofficial sportsbook of the cash in, our friends at FanDuel have a profit boost of 50% for the game tonight. So turn that plus 100 on the team total for the Niners into plus 150.
Ooh. I like
Double unit max play.
See, he finally gets close to the microphone just to tell you that. Double unit max play. There you go. That is Sam Yarnell, every day dispensing sports betting knowledge. Did you see, by the way, what Rob Gronkowski said about the situation in? I like him. He works with my old colleague Kay Adams. Kay and I used to work together back in the day at NBC Sports Radio, and she's a great gal. And Rob Gronkowski was on her morning show that she does. As a matter of fact, on FanDuel TV. And Gronk gave his theory on Justin Fields and his struggles. Take a listen to what Gronk had to say. He's actually a pretty smart guy.
What's going on with the struggles in Chicago?
I would say it's a combination of everything. It always is. I mean, in order to have a disaster of a football team, there's a lot of things that got to be going wrong, not just one thing, but it definitely starts with Justin Fields. I feel like the game, the speed of the game in the NFL has not slowed down for Justin Fields yet. I mean, there's a difference when you get from college and you go to the NFL, your first practice or so, you're out there and you're like, whoa, this is fast. You're not really used to it. And it still looks like that for him. And on top of it as well, he's definitely not getting any help, the way that he needs to get help. But overall, it starts with Justin Fields. He needs to be better, especially when the pocket collapses. He needs to find a way to get out of it and run the ball for a first down.
I think he's, by the way, I think if this goes badly for Fields in Chicago, well, if it continues to go badly for Fields in Chicago, I think he's going to get a shot somewhere else to be a starter. Because I think there's going to be an offensive guru, a mastermind, somebody out there that's going to say, we can fix Justin Fields. It's like a talented arm in baseball. If you got a great pitcher who struggles somewhere, there's always going to be a pitching coach. There's always going to be an analytics guy. There's going to be somebody out there that says, oh, no, we could fix him. We can get him right. I think Fields is going to be one of those guys because he is so physically talented. Either that, or I'll give you another scenario. I don't think this is crazy. Winds up playing another position. Got a guy that athletically gifted. Maybe a team says, hey, you want to get into the backfield. Go play in a backfield somewhere. Somebody sees that kind of physical ability. Somebody might, decide to take a shot on him in that regard. So something interesting on the field stuff. Something else to watch tonight, by the way, and I didn't get into this in the sports betting stuff. On the handicapping side of this Niners game. And I meant to even talk about it with Jason because he lives over there. Watch the air quality tonight. Big story tonight. Yesterday, and it's expected to possibly be worse tonight than it was yesterday afternoon. Yesterday in the parking lot at Levi Stadium, air quality index was 149. You're not supposed to be outside for any prolonged periods of time. Healthy athletic people are not advised to be outside. If it's at between 100 and 150, it's at 149 as of last night. I don't have the up-to-date number right now, but if it gets to 200, then the NFL might take action. And this is all wildfire related, not wildfires necessarily in California, but stuff blowing down from Oregon. Doing my best Jim Cantor here, like I'm on the Weather Channel. We've got a front moving down from... But seriously, watch that story tonight. And if you've got one defense or the other that happens to be on the field a lot more, could be an issue. Watch running backs, watch wide receivers, run a long route. You may not be able to stay in the game long. You might see guys taking oxygen in this game. Just keep an eye on it. It's going to be a part of the story tonight. All right, odds and ends to tie it up with before we wrap it up for today. Could Dwight Howard wind up with the Golden State Warriors? Boy, they are putting together the all-senior team, huh? Let's get them back from Taiwan. Dwight Howard has worked out for a couple of days with the Warriors, and there is talk that Dwight Howard could wind up playing with him. He was working out with Draymond Green. You know the guy's in phenomenal shape. That's never going to be a question. One day, everything won't leak, Draymond Green said. One day, good for you, by the way, Jason, but one day, everything won't leak. I have a dream. Talking about Jason Dumas of Kron 4 News, who had started leaking the information on. Golden State's veteran players have signed off on the idea of bringing Dwight into the fold. Look, we've seen what they do with centers on that team. Dwight Howard should work. Dwight Howard should work with what they do there because you're not asking that much of him. And he can still impact a game. I like it. What are the Warriors, by the way, just while we're on it here? Let's see where the Warriors are for the NBA Finals. They are not the top 6. Interesting. They're 7th, though. They're plus 1,400. I mean, that's a pretty good value, if I say so myself, Sam. 1,400 on that team. Again, motivated group, want to prove the naysayers wrong, not resting on their laurels. Let's put it this way. Here's what I will say, Sam. What happened to the Orioles this year? They hit on everything, right? They hit on every freaking prospect. They hit on every guy they picked up. Aaron Hicks off the scrap heap from the Yankees. They trade for Adam Frazier. He's playing well. Everything the Orioles touched this year turned to gold, and they're going to have a shot to win a World Series. If everything hits for the Warriors, they could win a championship. If everything hits right, if they have health, and that's the biggest one, because Chris Paul is bound to go down at some important point of the season. If they have health, I think you could talk about the Warriors at plus 1,400. That's value to me.
What's that saying about ifs and buts and candy and nuts and whatever? And
always.
Now, listen. It's
who
the
had
Miami
the Heat in the NBA Finals?
That's the play. The play is the Heat. The Heat is the only play. How are they still 10-1? They're the only team that Damian Lillard wants to go to. My God, why are we looking at any team besides the Miami Heat right now? If the Golden State Warriors want to have even a chance at the Western Conference, they're gonna need Steph Curry to regress 7 years. It just doesn't happen. Klay Thompson is a skeleton walking down an NBA floor at this point. Where does Chris Paul even fit into this team? My God, they have him by accident only because Draymond Green can't keep a relationship with any player under the age of 32. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. I hate the Golden State Warriors. I hate what they did to the sport of basketball throughout the 2010s and into the 2020s. No, the Golden State Warriors are completely shot. It makes me completely happy. Jonathan Kuminga, absolute bust. They're going absolutely nowhere.
Look at the vitriol. Bitter party of
Golden
one. Your
State
table is now ready.
They are the equivalent of the Dallas Cowboys in my mind.
No, they're not. They've won championships. Recent championships.
No. I just mean like my opinions.
Okay.
In terms of how I feel about them. They're about that same tier of I don't like that team.
Try to see who else I would like. I'll tell you who I like. If Zion Williams, give you another one. If Zion Williamson is healthy, that team before Zion went down last year, that Pelicans team was good. Go look at the numbers. That team was dangerous. Plus 4,700. They're a tenor.
Why are the Kings 29-1 to win the Western Conference? That is a play. That is 100% a play. How good were the Kings last year?
They're not good defense, but I have no reason to believe they're going to be better defensively than they were last year. And they were not just bad defensively. I talked to a lot of NBA people during the course of the NBA season, a lot. And there was one constant thread that everybody tugged on. They weren't just bad defensively. They were historically bad defensively with even a modicum of defense last year. That team was an NBA championship contender. They didn't have any, and they just don't have guys. And it's not a desire or a want to play. They just don't have the guys. They don't have guys that know how to play defense. Mike Brown is a defensive genius. That's what he coaches. So it has to drive him nuts that he's got a team that can't play defense. And I didn't see anything in the offseason that gives me enough to believe they're going to be able to play enough defense to come out of the West. But at plus 5,000 to win a championship, oof. I mean, look, one team. What?
Nerlens Noel and Alex Len. Now, those are a couple of A-plus defenders who they brought in the offseason.
Yeah, good luck with that. Yeah. The West is going to be interesting. The Lakers, of course.
No.
I'll always listen. LeBron is my ride or die guy. He's my ride or die guy.
I am I'm of the age of LeBron, right? I grew up with LeBron James being the best basketball player on planet Earth. Mm-hmm. But when are we going to be done with this, right? Like, this is a team that takes chances on Russell Westbrook at when he's like 34. What are we doing here? This is a team that started Jared Vanderbilt not Jared Vanderbilt. Jared Dudley for a period of time when they went. How did I pull that out of Jared Dudley? They started Jared Dudley en route to a title. Yeah. This team is just so haphazard. They're a mess. They've been a mess for 7 years now.
Oh, hold on one second.
Right?
Hold on. We're gonna have some fun here. Watch this. Apple's calling me. Hold on. This is great. I'm gonna interrupt for this. This is worth it. This is Jason.
Hi, Jason. This is Flavio. I'm calling from the Apple Store in El Paseo.
Oh, hi.
I just wanted to give you a quick heads up and let you know that the replacement device that we ordered for you has arrived here to the store, and you can stop by and pick it up anytime.
Great. I'll be by there later today. Appreciate it.
No problem,
Thanks.
sir. Just make sure that when you stop by, you've got your photo ID, please.
Absolutely. Thanks. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So my iPhone broke. My iPhone 13. The camera broke on it. And all the pictures are blurry. All the videos are blurry. So I went there to go. I have Apple Care. I went there to go get it replaced and or get it fixed. And they looked at it and said, well, it's in great shape. And for what we're going to have to do with it, it just wouldn't make sense. We might as well just give you a brand new phone. So they're giving me a brand new iPhone 13, which is the one that I bought. Pro Max, 1 terabyte. This is like the granddaddy of the 13s. So that was them calling me to say my phone is ready. That was fun. Put him on the air. Fabio, whatever his name was. Just got airtime that he was never expecting to get in his lifetime. It's great. All right. Anyway, that's how I feel about the Lakers.
Happy birthday, Flavio.
Yeah, my birthday was yesterday. What'd you get me? Nothing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
How was that? What'd you do?
Did
Jason
nothing.
Cole wish you a happy birthday?
No, Jason didn't even probably know.
No.
I went to we went out and had a nice dinner last night. Place here in Palm Springs called Gastropub 1501. Went and had ourselves a nice dinner, and we're doing 2 birthday dinners. One was last night, and then we're doing one Friday night. Nice sushi joint that we're going to here in the area. Actually, very close to that Apple store that I got to go drive to when I get done with the show today. So, and I got an Apple Watch for my birthday.
Oh, wow.
I got to go pick it.
There you go.
I got to go pick out an Apple Watch. So, yeah, going to get one of those bad boys. All right, so Sam's so your picks tonight that you like are the Niners total over
27.5.
27.5. Daniel Jones over 39.5 rushing yards.
Parlayed with the Niners money line.
The
at
Niners
plus
money
131.
Line. There you go. Okay. That is Sam Yarnell, ladies and gentlemen. That is going to wrap it up for us today. Thank you for being a part of the show. If you haven't subscribed to the Cash In podcast, and some of you haven't, make sure to go and do that. It's on all your favorite podcasting platforms. Here's part of the problem, though. The old podcast with the old company we were working with is still there. So some people might be subscribing to a podcast that isn't putting up podcasts anymore. I'm going to have to fix that. If you aren't watching the show, you're missing out because you get to see Sam in all his glory. Somebody said, who did somebody say you looked like? Somebody, my husband said, Sam looks like
Josh Allen.
No, it wasn't Josh Allen. Sam, who did he say you looked like? I'll have to find out for tomorrow. He said, are you here tomorrow?
Yeah.
All right. Page versus the Prince tomorrow. Hopefully we do better than we did last week, because God, we sucked something awful last week. Who did he say you looked like? Oh, it's going to drive me nuts. I'll have to find out. I'll text you it after the show and mention it tomorrow. If you aren't watching the show, on Twitch, Jason Page 77. On X, at the back page. Facebook and YouTube, just look for the Cash In with Jason Page. It's going to do it for us today. Thank you to Jason Cole, Outkick.com senior NFL writer. For the great Sam Yarnell, the Prince of Picks, I'm Jason Page. We'll see you back here on Friday for the Cash In. Have a great day.